because if storyline spirituality is there, mind will fall in place. And if and if it is not in it, even if the mind falls in place, nothing is going to happen. So it's like our scripture says that the first state is Sthita Prajna, which means totally coming into a restful place. Or you call it stillness or silence or no mind or whatever name you want to give. And the second part is they call it Anand Vibhor, which means a blissful state. And then they put it third as, which actually is a part of second, but the third they say is the Sansara falls away. So these are the three stages they put it in our scriptures. But none of them happens unless it is in the storyline. And for many people it has happened in spite of the fact they never did any spiritual practice. So the whole science of spirituality, art of spirituality, the whole the discipline of practice, the whole teachings of all the masters, enlightened persons, gurus, acharyas, everything is like the story of the 4 or 5 blind men trying to touch an elephant and trying to figure out how the elephant is. And because each master and each guru and each acharya, they had their own unique experiences, from that they assumed this would be what is the best practice for a spiritual thing. And many of them, including if we take Jaggi Vasudeva, he never practiced anything and yet he had his experience on the mountains. Later on he started giving all the techniques to his disciples, but he didn't need any of them. No Kriya Yoga, no meditation, no nothing in order to have that experience. So, and he assumed that experience is an enlightening experience, which is not true, because it is known as Satori. Satori means a beautiful experience outside time and space, which cannot be explained by the rational mind and is very uplifting, exhilarating and beautiful. So this is what is a Satori. It is not enlightenment, and people have associated Satori with enlightenment. So Satori is like going to a wonderful restaurant and having a beautiful something that is being served to you. Very tasty, very fulfilling, very satisfying. So that is what is a Satori. Again, Satori does not happen because of what you are doing. It is again a part of storyline. So if one assumes this is the way I can at least get a Satori, that doesn't happen. So Satori is different, enlightenment is different. Enlightenment is what? It just means stillness. So stillness, silence, peace, no mind, no thoughts, no wanting. So whatever you might call it. That means you are not one, no movement inside.
So can we consider if we go beyond time, space and body and mind, can we consider it as the third state, third particular state?
No, that is at the most it will be astral travel.
Okay.
Even if you go out of your body, and even if you have a wonderful experience, even if you have seen the light, you have seen the angels, you have seen whatever, but it is still astral travel. So going out or going in makes no difference. What makes a difference is whether your energy bodies are getting activated or not. which is whether the astral body is getting activated, or if astral body gets activated, you are in a place of stillness and silence. If your mental body gets activated, you are in a place of bliss. And if your etheric body, the third body, gets activated, you are in a state of expanded awareness. Right now my awareness is restricted within the walls, but this awareness can go beyond the walls. That is the third state. And if your fourth body gets activated, now you have siddhis, which is the electromagnetic body. But this activation happens only because of the storyline, and it is not caused by your efforts, it is caused by the spirit which is making the storyline come alive.
So by doing all these practices, it's completely nonsense. Actually, if there is no storyline, we can't.
Use the word nonsense.
Correct. Today so also.
I use that word, and they are like, it has gone out on TV. Will you be safe? People will not come at you. I said, nonsense, what, they'll come at me, okay? Yeah, but what you said is true.
Yes. Yes.
It's a good time pass, because you have to do something. 1 hour of meditation, 1 hour passed, another half an hour of book reading, another half an hour passed, because you have 24 hours to do something. So if I watch Netflix and you do your meditation, ultimately we will have the same output decided by the storyline. The output is decided by the storyline. But storyline can force me to do those practices in order that it gets established in the world that you cannot have enlightenment without these practices. So this is the crux of the whole spirituality. In the today's morning lecture, I was giving the crux of religion, and it kind of triggered people. Some of them left because it's too much to kind of assimilate. And then either there is a fight or flight. The fight is, I don't agree with you. Flight is, they will either switch off their listening and go back to their mobile or something, or they will get up and leave the room. So both was happening in that room.
So actually, people are not in a condition to accept anything unconditionally.
Which is true, and that is why the beauty of this work is, we do not want, because I tell people, don't read my book, talk to the book. Reading the book, chances are you will not be able to digest. Talking to the book, chances are you will receive the grace from God and some healing will happen to you. The sum and substance of the book starts with that this is God, this is not God. God has an agenda, not God has an agenda, and the victim is the human. And because the human is the victim of these two mighty ones, so the Supreme has decided that I will give some relief to the humans. But he said, I cannot change your storyline. I cannot alter your events of life. I cannot make you a different person. I cannot stop the disease and accidents that are going to happen. Why I can't do it? For the simple reason that your body, your mind, and your and your storyline, three things, belongs to the king of the universe. And when something belongs to the king of the universe, I will not interfere in that. It is like if my neighbor's house they are fighting, I wouldn't go there to try to sort it out, because that is their domain, that is their life. Now maybe I might get disturbed and go, but God doesn't get disturbed, so God will never go. So God is not disturbed with what is happening in this universe. So God will not alter either the laws or the intention of the king or the storyline of the human. Without touching these, God will now look for the gaps in which God can deliver healing. Now these gaps for some people will be quite big and God can deliver a huge amount. For some people it will be pretty tight and God will then God will then have difficulty in making a sizable shift. And in some cases, the structure which maintains us can hit back and this person can kind of fall, in which case God says, talk about me, about what is happening to you as you came to me, so that in 30 days I can again bring you back. This is the whole gist of not just the book, I mean the whole work that I am doing with God.
Not the book, the work.
So, so the work basically has two portions. Number one, creating this to be the last life, which means you do not really have to do anything for that. It happens because it is the will of God. And number two, as long as you are alive, if you are with me, I will look for ways to create some relief, some ease into your life. So these are the two things that God is saying. I just completed with him. Now if you want to ask, because I was just completing one flow.
I just literally joined, but still considering part of the narration, I have one question.
Yes.
When God doesn't want to interfere with the local king, his activities and his storyline for the humans, what they should undergo, with an accident or illness or whatever it is. Just now you said that he will give relief, but there is also interference. The storyline says that the person has to go through his storyline of.
So God allows the events to happen, but alters the experience of the events.
And it will be softening the
Blow.
blow.
Softening the blow. So death can happen, but maybe you won't feel so bad. You have the capacity to handle it.
The blow is reduced. Impact is.
Experience of the blow is reduced. And ultimately everything is experience, not the events.
Correct.
The reaction.
How do we take it?
Exactly. So the work is very simple because there is nothing for the humans to do. Outcome of the work partly cannot be verified because who knows whether at all this is our last life or not. Part of the work can be verified because if someone gets some relief in some area of their life, that can be verified. What is it that human has to give in return? Basically, God says, for 30 days I do not want anything from you. After 30 days, once you have experienced me in terms of what it means to be with me, now you have to make a choice between God and King. Because if you have chosen the King by default, by ignorance, and because I wasn't there till now. So God was not here in this universe till now. We had only the King who said, I am God. But now that God is here, not that He came for the humans, if that would have been so, He would have come long back, but He came for His children, the souls. And because of that, He extended the work to the humans. And because we completed the work for the soul, now we are carrying on the work for the humans, to see if the humans are willing to accept God in their life, or they would wish to continue with the King in their life. So this is what God is now trying to check out. We started this work very recently.
Sir, you just now said God is now coming.
God is?
Now coming.
No, God has already come.
Come. Earlier He was not here.
No, He wasn't.
But our scriptures, our Hindu philosophy, Christianity. In Christianity, Bible, there is God is again coming, again coming. There is a question of coming again and again. He is there, eternal. He is there forever and ever. That's what the people who explain about that saying, again coming, they contradict by saying that God is always there here. Why He should be coming again? That even in our Hindu scriptures, He has taken several avatars to come to the land, in Bhumi, the earth, to conquer evil forces, to establish Dharma. That's why He has taken several shapes and means to have control on evil and establish this. Sambhavami yuge yuge, that's what Bhagavad Gita says. I take birth whenever there is a glani for Dharma, there is a problem for Dharma, I take a shape of God.
Okay. Now you said, why is there a need for God? Or there is a need, of course, because you said there is evil. You said that we have always known God to be coming again and again. So how come God has come now? That was the
He is
question.
already there.
Ever
So,
existing.
yeah. So that was the question.
Omnipresent, omnipotent, that's what we
Yeah.
say.
Now I give the answer to that question. First thing is, since God was not here up to 2015, in fact, as far as the public is concerned, up to 2023 end, because till 2015 to 2023, I was working with God minus the humans for the souls. So that is a different part of my journey which has no connection with what I am currently doing. But assuming that God came, I am saying that I came here in 2023 end as far as the humans are concerned. Why I am saying so, in spite of what you said. Now these people who came, like second coming of Jesus, like the avatars coming again and again, it is like the Kalki is now about to come, or maybe coming in the future, whatever that be. And to us they are God, because we use a word called Bhagwan. So Bhagwan means God. Now, if we go into the Shiv Sutra, Shiv Puran, I used to show one page in my class in which it says, I am Shiva, I am Paramatma, I am Atma, I am Kaal Brahman, I am Ishwar. Every word that we know, he said, I am all that. But he is not all that. But he wanted the humans to believe that he is everything. And there is no one else other than him. That is, he wanted the humans to believe. Even if we look into the Bhagavad Gita, whose example you gave, it's very interesting to note. It's very interesting to note that Bhagavad Gita has got no connection with Krishna. In spite of the fact it has been spoken through the mouth of Krishna. First evidence. When the war got over, Rajyabhishek was done, Krishna was going back to Dwarka. Arjun said, I have forgotten what you told me on the battleground. Can you tell it to me again? And Krishna said, I cannot do that. You should have remembered. You made a mistake. I cannot tell you what was said then. Because I was in a state of union. But he did give something to Arjuna which doesn't have the preciseness and the eloquence of Bhagavad Gita. This one is known as Anugita. It has double the chapters and not all that great, like Bhagavad Gita. Same Krishna giving it. Then who was it who gave Bhagavad Gita?
The Supreme.
It was the king. Now come to the 11th chapter, where he gives the Virat Darshan. In that Virat Darshan, it is written, it is shown as a very vicious character, eating all the humans, having many hands. Sahasravahu, but there it is written Anekavahu. But the same Krishna, when he showed his Virat Roop in the palace of Duryodhana, when he was being arrested because he only wanted 5 villages, he showed his Virat Roop and he was Chaturbhuj. Totally two different characters. Same Virat Roop. So, this wasn't that. And why was Krishna eating all the humans? Because it is the king who carries the curse that I will eat the humans, not exactly their physical body, but their energy body after they have died. So that is the curse of the king. It is not that it is a very beautiful item on the menu. He has to eat. And he has to eat the grime of the humans, not just the energy body, the grime. And grime is known as, it is what is created from all our negative thoughts, feelings and emotions.
It is a polluted object.
It is a polluted object, a dirty object, nothing all that good.
Yes,
That is what is his food. And in order that humans continue to make the grime, he has to ensure that we are rooted in negativity. So we are wired neurologically and we are programmed psychologically to keep on creating the grime for the king.
That's how bad thoughts are all pervading.
And that is why it is very easy for the humans to be negative, and it takes a great amount of will and effort to be positive, and they can't hold on to their positivity for a long time, because we are going against the wiring and the programming. And this thing starts with only two things, actually four things. First, it starts with attachment and aversions, and second, it starts with wanting and fear.
One thing,
And fear.
fear.
So these four are the root causes of human suffering.
So I have a question. Actually, you said about the human beings. So it's everything is aligned with the God and the King, the difference between God and the King. But what about the animals and all the remaining things which is there in the?
You see, the king had a passion for creation. So God said you can create anything, but you have to eat the grime of the human. God is not concerned with the other things, but the king creates every kind of creation, animate as well as inanimate,
So
not just
it
animate,
consumes only the negative energy patterns of the human.
of the humans, because this is the curse. And we are the product of kind of two gods, rather God and the Son of God. The God created the energy part of us, the Son created the physical body and the psychological body, which is the mind.
So, for example, if we enter with any low energy pattern people, for example, I do various practices. Yeah, as I said, so I raise my vibrational pattern all the time. For example, so I maintain the energy body healthy. I come across any person who is in low vibration, automatically my energy body will be impacted. Actually, it's what I understood by studying the quantum physics, all these things. So it's completely different. So as per your
No, I understand. When you practice, when you go through a lot of spiritual practice and raise your energy, raise your vibration, that is being created at your aura level.
Okay.
Energy bodies are different from the aura. So aura, it is like when you are dreaming in the night, it is the astral body that dreams. It is the astral body that goes out of the physical body. It is the astral body that travels. But your energy is still good because you are a regular spiritual practitioner. You have done a lot of purification. So they are totally two different things.
Actually, such type of clarity is missing almost sir, everywhere. People are teaching various methods, various things to reach to the enlightenment, to reach to get out of the mind.
Yeah, that is why I said that enlightenment happens not because of what you do, but because it is in the storyline. So it was written in Buddha's storyline that Buddha will get enlightened and he will be a teacher, and his teachings will become down the line a religion that thousands and lakhs of people are going to follow. It was a part of the storyline. Nothing to do with Buddha. He just went through the motions.
So sadhana, all these things are most unnecessary.
No, they are necessary because without them, how will you pass your time? You have a whole 24 hours to pass. Vipassana people doing meditation 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. 24 minus 2, now only 22 hours figuring out what do I do. Reading spiritual books, 1 hour you give, now only 21 hours left. 8 hours I give for sleeping. So 21 minus 8, whatever that number, I am not good in maths, that many left. So something we have to do. Or the other thing is go and see Netflix. Either way you are passing your time. But your passion may not be Netflix, your passion may be doing all these things. And if your passion is doing spiritual sadhana, why not? But to assume it is going to contribute may not be so. I use the word may for the simple reason I am not presenting myself as an authority. I am just saying, like we hear certain stories. I present you with a story. And that's why in the end I always say, do not trust me. You do not know me. Trust a guy whom you know. You do not know me. You met me for the first time. You met me for a few hours. You have no idea what my life has been till all these 67 years. And you have no idea what all nonsense I have done in my life. Why should you trust me? But listen in a way that you get what I am saying. Not you believe, not you accept, but you get. So it's like that. And that is why I always say, in the end, it doesn't matter what I say. So today I had a talk in a law college. So after everything I said, forget about all these things, they are too heavy. You know what you are doing is nonsense and what I said is nonsense. And that triggered the audience. No, what we are doing is not nonsense.
They are not in a condition to receive.
Because I say, continue to do what you are doing, but try out this method that I am giving you, that if you have any pain, starting from your headache to your depression, to your stress, to your anything which is upsetting you, anxiety, jealousy, anything, just say it to the card and see after 30 days, has anything shifted in your life? If it shifts, good. So why again come into that person, I don't know what he said and why does he say nonsense? And nonsense is not a bad word. I do not know why it makes a trigger. Nonsense just means it is not making sense. That's all it means. It's not that I have given a dirty word I have spoken. I know my stuff doesn't make sense.
It's not meant to.
Huh?
I said it's not meant to. This has to break from the.
In the end, what matters is, do you have a little more freedom in your life, having heard what was told, but not accepting it? If you accept it, then it becomes another dogma. It becomes another religion, another cult. We don't want another cult. We want, that's why I said, Principal Madam is going to put a trash bin there. As you all live, put everything that you have heard into that swaha and leave. Don't carry anything. We don't want you to carry anything. Even when I give the book, I am telling people I am the only author who says don't read my book. Talk to the book. See what the book delivers. Because as such, what is in the book is going to upset you, is going to make you, is going to disturb you.
I have a question. I read the book too. So I had a question regarding the souls. So we have been taught and trained that the soul is within and that is what, Atma is always within you. But when you say the souls are out of the body and not necessarily in, and already the soul's work is complete, like you have already taken the soul's work. So what are we as humans devoid of the soul?
What are we?
Devoid.
If we are devoid of the soul, what are we? That is the question.
And also I want to understand about the souls and the journey back.
Journey back, I don't know. that is for God and the souls. They will decide how it will be, and all of them will not go like in one go. They all will go in a different way. After you die, your soul will go. After my die, my soul will go. Or till we die, the souls will be here.
So the souls are part of us, right?
No, they are not part of us. You have to understand this question. Like Ramana Maharshi used to say, "Who am I?" So I also tell people, "Do you know who you are?" They say, "We are soul." I said, "No, that is nonsense. You are not soul. We are the observer." I said, "No, partly that is true, but that's not what you are." And they said, "But there is no other thing other than the observer."
Consciousness.
No, the consciousness is the observer, right?
Now God says there is no consciousness in this universe because consciousness belongs to God. The mind belongs to the king. So what people call as consciousness is basically awareness. And they have clubbed two words together, and it was very cunningly brought together by the king so that people will not go to God for consciousness. The king said, "I have already given you consciousness," because consciousness is awareness. But they are not same. One is an aspect of the mind, one is an aspect of the God.
How do we come to know of God if God is not what we know of it as? Only through this message, right? Before that,
It is only through my message. First, it was Kabir who told about God. Kabir was the first messenger who came 600 years back. And I am the second who has come, who takes the work to a different level and gives a whole different understanding to the information given by God. Kabir had one drawback. He was stuck within the mindset of that time. He had to go through a guru. He had to go through that bhakti mark. I have no such limitations. I can come straight. I don't need a guru. So I have an advantage over Kabir. Also, I have a different audience, part of whom are willing to listen. If this talk would have happened when Kabir was there, it wouldn't have been accepted even by a single person. Now some people are willing to listen. Listen, I said, not accept, but listen. So you asked that question about soul, and if soul is not in us, then what are we minus the soul? So the answer to that question, who am I? The scripture said you are the Turiya, right? The fourth one. Shankara said, no, you are Brahman, ultimate. But you are neither Brahman nor you are Turiya. Then what are you? So God makes it very clear that you are basically 5 things. The first 3 we have heard of: body, mind, spirit. What are the other 2? One is the energy body. That is one you are. That is number 4. And number 5 is you are a personality. A personality which has no reality. It exists within an assumption as to who you are and what you think you are. That is an assumption. And this assumption has a common agreement. Like your mother also agrees to that. Your husband also agrees. Your friend also agrees. It has a common agreement. So if you are 5, body, everyone knows, is very evident. Mind, partly we know. Spirit, no one is very clear. But this is the key. Energy body, not much clarity, little bit. Personality, yeah, we all know what we are. But unless you really understand spirit, you will not be able to understand who we are. Now in this five there is no soul.
Only we confuse the spirit to the soul.
Yes. Why we conclude that? Because Shankara said that we are Brahman. And when Brahman enters into a Jeev, becomes Jivatma, it is the Atma. So this Atman is Brahman and not separate from Brahman. Now this Atman is spirit. But Atman is not Atma. Some assume both to be same. This Atman is what is known as Ishvara. This Atman is what is spirit. Now if spirit is the English word for Atman, what is the English word for Brahman? It is matrix. Now in the movie Matrix, they showed a matrix. It came from the machine world, which means it was a digital matrix. But king's matrix comes from the mind of the king. It is the mind of the king. So when Shankara says, I am Brahman, he is saying, I am that which from which originates everything, the whole creation. But Sankhya says, no, you cannot be Brahman, you are a Jeev. So Sankhya did not accept Shankara. Ramanuj said, no, me and Bhagwan or God both separate. I am a Bhakta, I will worship. So I don't accept Shankara. Now you see, it is the Upanishad that they are interpreting. Shankara gave a commentary on Upanishad. Ramanuj says, I don't accept that commentary, here is my commentary. Vallabhacharya says, I don't accept, here is my commentary. Same source, three people interpreting in different way depending on their upbringing, their inclination, their passion and their storyline.
Yes.
Because Upanishad things are same. Why three interpretations? So that means spirit is the one creating. But what is it that the spirit follows? Spirit follows the storyline. Who writes the storyline? The soul writes the storyline. The soul has two purposes. Writing the storyline before we are born, and after we are born, the soul comes and puts the breath in us. So now we have a storyline and we are breathing, which means we are alive. But spirit comes at that point of time and gives us the life force. Because we have to animate. Even a person in coma is breathing, but not animate. So we have to animate, so we need life force. Spirit comes and gives us the life force.
So the person in coma has a spirit or no?
Person in coma, that is the storyline going on. That you will be in coma for certain period of time. And maybe you will die and maybe you will come back.
I don't know, during that point the spirit is
Still there. When does the spirit live? When we die. The spirit lives. Spirit rose from the Brahman as a wave in the ocean, not separating from the Brahman, animating the body-mind, completing the storyline and merging back into the Brahman. The spirit does not have any identity of its own. It is the Brahman.
So So what in Bhagavad Gita Krishna talks about is the spirit, is it? When he says there's no, it's like wearing new clothes, taking life again, no?
He is talking about reincarnation
Yes. Reincarnation of the soul or the spirit? Or
of the body. The spirit doesn't reincarnate. It emerges as a wave and merges back into the ocean called Brahman. So this is who we are, body, mind, spirit. And the beauty of the spirit is, if you have died, not you, if somebody has died and doctor has given a death certificate, that person has already been taken to the crematorium, put on the fire, the fire is about to be lit, that person sits up and comes back, it disturbs all other people. Such a phenomenon has happened. Question is, what happened at that point of time? What happened was the spirit which left came back, reanimated that body mind. And if the spirit wants, it can rejuvenate that body mind. So this is what a spirit can do. It can bring the dead alive.
Brahman is not God, what you just said.
Some people say Brahman is God, but I say Brahman is the mind of whom you call as the God,
King, you're saying.
King.
the
Brahman is-
king. Because who is king? King is Kaal. King is Kaal Brahm. King is Mahadev, not Shiva. Mahadev. Shiva and Mahadev has been clubbed together. They are two different personalities. King is Allah. King is Jehovah. King is Vaheguru. King is Aura Mazda. King is the Lord or Father, what the Christians called. These are what the king has come as. But king also came as the avatars. Jesus was there, Shiva was there, because Shiva even took birth. Others have come, now Kalki is going to come. Avatars means descending, bringing into a human form in order to carry out certain work that the king wishes. But I tell you, there is no evil that is being set right. There is no dharma that is being established. Because the most adharmic person is the king. Most adharmic. His cunningness has no limit. His viciousness has no limit. His aggressiveness has no limit. His ability to give pain and suffering has no limit. And I say all this not from reading a book. First thing I am seeing it. I saw all these things and I said, why is there so much of pain and suffering? Why is there a need for people to suffer? They said it is bad karma. I said, okay, bad karma. That means there is a free will which decided that I am going to do bad karma and not going to do good karma. But as I came to know more and more, I found there is no free will. Because my thoughts, my feelings and my emotions are put in me by the spirit. Whether I fall in love with someone, spirit is giving me the love. And I fall out of love, spirit is taking out that love. Because love is nothing but emotion. I hate someone, the spirit is putting the hatred in me. I like someone, spirit is putting the liking in me. Where am I? No thought, no feeling, no emotion. Storyline already scripted. Events already scripted. When I am going to have disease scripted.
Storyline, how it is formed differently for different people. On what basis? My storyline is different than the storylines. Why is the difference has come?
The difference has come because the game of creation doesn't like the game of copy paste. It says we will create variety.
Right.
And that is why you will find no two humans having the same storyline, even if they are born together as twins and may be separated from each other only a few seconds.
We have twin granddaughters.
It is because of the script. Otherwise, astrologically, they should have had exactly a copy-paste life.
Past lives karma.
Karma also.
Past lives karma is taken into consideration, but also understand that karma is a very dicey subject. Okay? I said karma is basically a little dicey subject. It is dicey for the simple reason that people assume that I'm the one who is creating the karma. People assume that karma happened because I did something good or I did something bad. Partially it is true. But karma does not happen because of an action. It happens because of the attitude behind the action. If I have killed someone, it doesn't create a karma which needs to be sorted out. If I have killed someone from a place of vengeance, now it creates a karma that needs something to be sorted out. Basically, karma just means incomplete business. A very short definition. Karma is equal to incomplete business. What is incomplete? Either I did something out of attachment or I did something out of aversion. Either I did something because I was wanting something or I did something because I was scared. These are the four things that creates karma. Because all are coming from a place of that I was not able to be in a place of balance. The moment my balance tilts and I do an action, it creates karma. When I am in a place of balance and I do the worst things in life, it creates no karma. But it can create consequences. I could be punished for what I did in this life. Karma is that which you carry forward to the next life. Consequences is that which you complete in this life. That is the difference between karma and consequences. So I can have consequences, but there will be zero karma. And I can create huge karma, but having zero consequences. Both possible. And how both can be possible? Again, in the storyline it's written. You will create great karma which will be carried forward to the next lifetime, but you will have no consequences for whatever you did. And that's why people say, how come bad people are doing so much of bad things and nothing is happening to them? And we do a little bad thing and there is so much of consequences, my life is destroyed. Because it is in the storyline. And there are two different aspects of life, karma and consequences. Now the question comes, am I creating karma out of a place of me deciding to create or someone forces me to create? Do I really have a choice? If you look and if you get your thoughts, your feelings and your emotions, they do not come from you. Because if they came from you, let me ask you one thing. Can you decide for the next 1 hour how you are going to think, how you are going to feel and what are your emotions will be? You cannot say that because you do not know. They come from somewhere. And because they come from somewhere, where is my choice? Give me a choice. No, I don't have a choice. Basically, I am a puppet. Someone is making me dance by putting in those thoughts, those feelings, those emotions. It puts in me love and I fall in love. It puts in me hatred, I hate someone. It puts in me aggression, I go and kill someone. I didn't do. And there are so many people in the jail who have been interviewed and asked, why did you do it? And they say, we don't know. In that moment, it seemed that was the only thing to do. And in the next moment, they can't figure out. They're looking at the dead body. And then fear comes up. And now they run. But they can't figure out why I killed. Because the matter was such a small thing. It makes no sense. Now it is not making no sense to him why I killed. But it's already done. I have to run. So these are the things because of which we have no choice. And because we have no choice, we are not the creator of our karma. Karma is happening. And why karma is happening? Because if the soul has to write a story, it needs some material. Karma is the material that the soul uses to write the story. But this individual is not creating the karma. Who is creating the karma? Spirit, Atman, Ishwar, Prabhu, any name you give it. That is the one creating all this stuff. But in the end, why? Why this thing? Why does the storyline has to be so negative? Even those whose storylines are very positive, they end up creating negativity in other people out of jealousy. So they are the source of others' negativity. And they themselves have their own negativity, which either is coming in from form of a guilt, or from a stress, or from insomnia, or from a place of non-functioning of the body, or from a place of some pain, or some loss, or something that they are totally confused. It's like I have lived, but for what did I live? At the end of 70, 80 years, they can't figure out why I lived. That itself is a huge, huge pain. Now if you ask a question, I can respond.
On this karma, by doing good things like giving food or praying, by some doing some good things in the society, will this karma will change anything?
No.
That's what the belief of
Yeah, it is
lot
the
of
belief
people.
that have been given to people in order to keep them in a place of certain level of activity. Like there is a belief given to spiritual seekers in order to keep them engaged with certain activities. Because the whole thing rests on an understanding of merit and sin, pap and punya. Okay? And heaven and hell. Now, if you understand who you are, I told you that you are 5 things. The body, the mind, the spirit, the energy bodies, and personality. Now, when you die, what happens? The body is cremated. When the body is cremated, the mind sustains for some time till one of the energy body goes to Pitrulok. What happens most of the time? The energy body doesn't go to Pitrulok, the ancestral world. It doesn't go. Why it doesn't go? Because it is stuck to the property, it is stuck to the family, it is stuck to the invention that was done, it was stuck in I have to take revenge. So some attachment and some aversion keeps that astral body stuck. And that is why it is said that don't create anything in life that will hold you back from the onward journey after your death. Or if you create, let go of it before you die. Do not have any connection with it, so that that doesn't hold you back. So from that place came this whole system of Vanprastha and Sannyas, which is about they figured out in order to go to ancestral world we have to give up 100%. Now coming back to Papa and Punya. Spirit of course merges back into the Brahman or the matrix. For this personality vanishes when the person dies because no one is interacting with this personality anymore. So this is no more, spirit is no more, physical body is no more, the mind and one of the energy bodies sustains till it goes to the ancestral world. Now what is left to go to the heaven? There has to be something left to go to the heaven. Do you know anything else from what I said that is in you, or you are that which will go to heaven or hell?
Only the energy body has some attachment.
Energy body, I told you, it is stuck. So we call it Bhoot, Pret, Pishach, whatever name you give.
But if there's no attachment, it can.
Of course, if there is no attachment, it goes on to its onward journey, which is ultimately it goes to the ancestral world.
Right.
Now I said astral body. What about the other energy bodies? Because there are 11 energy bodies. We don't talk about the higher ones. The next to the astral body is the mental body, causal body, whatever you want to call it. This one carries this whole karmic baggage, the imprint or whatever that stuff is, moves on to the next lifetime. So if I am again reborn, I do not carry my astral body into the next birth. I carry my mental body into the next birth. And the one above to that, which is known as the etheric body, this goes to the king as the food. So now I told you about the journey of the three, because these three bodies only matter. Beyond that it doesn't matter for common people. What is left to go to heaven? They say you have to go to heaven. Okay, I got it, I have to go to heaven. But what part of me?
What is there? Nothing is there.
If anything is left, you tell me this is what is left. And you all have really heard and read a lot of things. Up till now you should have known what else is left which goes to heaven and hell.
Atma,
No Atma.
it's Brahman.
No, Atma doesn't go anywhere. Atma is not touched by your deeds. It never gets anything which is malefic or positive. Atma is never touched. The moment Atma has written your script, Atma has put the breath in you, Atma recedes back. It can come in you, generally it doesn't come. It stays away from you.
The purpose is only to write these two.
Only two. Write the script, put the breath, your job done.
Every soul, only one. For one.
Generally one body mind, but they can animate multiple also if they want.
The purpose of king is to stop the entry of Atma to Paramatma.
Currently, the battle that is going on between the two, and it's not a battle in the way we know, like both the sides are fighting, because what happens with God and the king, as I have noticed for such a long time, which was very frustrating for me in the beginning days, was every time God makes a move, the king comes and creates a firewall. The God cannot go forward. And I am like, are you really God or something else? You should break the firewall. You are supposed to be more powerful than the king. I don't think you are God. Because what was my relationship with God? My relationship with God was when God came to me and said, you have to work for me. I said, listen, I don't know you. As far as I am concerned, you can be the devil. You can also be the hallucination of my mind. And I know mind like anything. I know every hallucination mind can create. You could also be one of the angels. You could be some deity. You could be one of the asuras. You are saying you are God. Okay, you are God. I am not saying no, but I don't trust you. I don't believe in you. So when God came to me, I said, I don't believe in you, I don't trust you, I have no faith in you. So all those things that humans do with their God, I said none of them, okay? No reverence, no devotion, no submission, no nothing, all those things. Because I do not know you, I have not seen you, I do not have a way to verify what you are saying you are, and I know many gods. Why I know many gods? Because by that time I had worked with many gods. I had worked with Shiva, I had worked with Rama, I had worked with Krishna, I had worked with Sai Baba, I had worked with Mahavatar Babaji. So my capacity to cognize and perceive goes so high that all these I had already interacted with. So I said, you could be any one of them. And there are many gods. They say, Hindus say 33 crores. So I don't trust you. This is the relationship that I and you are going to have. A relationship of doubt, a relationship of skepticism, a relationship of not believing you. Are you okay with it? God said, I am okay. Now, how come you all cannot have that relationship with your gods? Every god that was given to you, you blindly accepted them. Either they were given to you by your parents, or by your teachers, or by your relatives, or by your society, or by your culture.
There are scriptures.
Scriptures. And you said, that is my God. So look into the relationship you have with your God, which comes from a place of not so dignified. Why it is not so dignified? Because it is rooted in something called begging. A decent word to begging is wanting. But still it is begging. Imagine you going and standing in the temple and that beggar coming and knocking the car screen and saying, give me 5 rupees. What is the difference? You have only added another 10 zeros to that 5. But relationship remains same, undignified. So when God came to me, I did not want anything from life. Why I did not want anything from life? Because I had examined life thoroughly.
You know your storyline.
I knew partly about storyline, but not with this much of clarity. I called it at that time destiny.
Destiny.
But I had examined and I had seen when I had an X amount of money, I was so happy. When I had 100x of money, I was miserable. I had examined and seen that when I was having no relationship and I was a vagabond, I was happy. And when I had multiple relationships through all the customs, I became miserable. I examined that when I didn't have success and I was the nobody, I was so happy. And when I had success and I became somebody, suddenly I was so conscious about my image, which itself is a suffering. Everything that the humans are going to the temple and wanting, and I am examining whatever they are asking for. What will it give them? What has it given to me? What has it given to them who already has it? I couldn't find anything. Because I knew ultimately the only thing that matters is, am I satisfied? Am I content? Am I at peace? These are the fundamental things that really matters. Anything more than that is nothing but a distraction creating suffering. So, having examined them so thoroughly and so incisively, I was in a place of, I want nothing. Destiny has given me little money, little place, little few people. Well, good or bad, I continue with them till I die. No ambitions, no goals, nothing to do. But was I enlightened? No, I was not enlightened. Because you can still provoke me and make me angry. Because enlightened persons are not supposed to become angry. That you can do. I still have a lot of fear. If I am arrested and taken to the police station, I will be absolutely scared. So fear is there. So I am not enlightened. So we forget about that part. It was just a part of my critical examination of what can life give to me. It was a question I asked. What can you give me which really has value? And I use the word really has value. Not a value that people will put on the social media or display or put on their shelf or put as a certificate. Not that kind of value. Real value. That will be with me. I couldn't find anything. So when God came to me, I had nothing to ask from God. And because I did not have anything to ask from God, my relationship with God became equal. Me and God are equal. You are not above, I am not below. Even when I was working for Shiva, Rama, Krishna, Mahavatar, Babaji and all, I was treating them as my equal because I wanted nothing from them. I told them there's nothing you can give me. You are what you are because of your storyline. I am stuck in my destiny. What can you give me? You will, what do people ask? Dhan, Yash and some of those things. In the mantra, that thing they are asking. Dehi, Dehi, Yasho Dehi. I said, nothing I need. All these things. They are going to be a burden on my head. I want no burden. And I do not want siddhis. What do I do with it? Do I go and fight with somebody? Or do I start healing people and open a hospital? Come here, free healing available. And those people who are getting healed again will go back and do the same thing and again fall sick and come back again saying, heal me. No change in that person. Because that person never took responsibility for their life and for what happened to them. So even if you heal them, nothing has shifted. They just will recreate it down the line. So this equality gave a totally different relationship between me and God, and from that place of equality started a work that was never done in this universe. because no human can even conceive, imagine what that work can be, which is about freeing the soul from the king. First thing, nobody knows the king. Second thing, nobody knows the soul. And the work is about a personality whose powers are beyond imagination. So it was not really about having muscle power or weapon power to do this job. That is why God was not breaking the firewalls. Every time a firewall would come up, God would step back, come from another direction. Another firewall comes up, God would step back. Years I kept on going. 7 years was so frustrating for me. I saw the work going nowhere. And the foundation of that work was God needed 300 people who would be willing to agree to the terms of God. No one was willing. It took me 5 years to get those 300 people. The moment we had them, the work zoomed. And in next 2 years, we completed the work.
Sir, the time frame is different from our time frame. Its cosmic times are different.
No, it may be, but human frustration was for that period of time. I am not saying for God it may be less than a second.
That's what I meant.
But for me it was like, what am I doing? Every time I saw that work being destroyed, the way we would build it up. Because I think from a different way, God thinks in a different way. And for me it's like, I have worked for you so many years, what is the output? I don't see any output. So coming from that place of mindset, it didn't make any sense the way I was working with God. So coming now to the Pap and Punya, I told you, ultimately there is nothing left to really go to the heaven or hell. But why was this concept given? In order to trap us into the religion, because this concept comes from religion, and in order to instill fear in us that we do not go away from religion.
So it's done by Kaal.
Most of it is the same thing. Right?
Same, because that's the originating person is the same. Who is Kaal? Kaal is nothing but Mahadev, Kaal Brahm, Mahakal, not Shiva. Allah, Jehovah, Vaheguru, the Father or Lord, Aura Mazda, all same individual.
Is there any relation between Atma and Paramatma? How do you
There is a relation. One is the father, the other is the children. And the children who came here into this universe are those who went against the will of God. Just like the king went against the will of God. And God said, if you want to live according to your will, then you cannot live in my kingdom. I give you 21 universes and I give you the material with which you can do your creation. Take my material, take my universe, and all were pushed out from the kingdom of God. So this is the fallen God, the king. And who was immortal at that point of time became immortal.
The journey of Atma is clear.
For it to go back home is now clear. Those who want to go back, they can go back. Those who want to stay here, they can stay here. God will not force anyone to go back.
And how do they know how to go back?
The souls, they know because they are in communication with God. They are the children of God.
connectivity.
Then
But-
they can write a storyline which
Storyline,
says
yeah.
no more story, time to go back.
Actually, because I came here, lot of thing now is going to shift. You see, earlier it was like I had to go and tell people that you have to do this. Then it came to just do the mantra. Then it came to, okay, you don't like doing the mantra, take this healing card and just talk to it for 30 days. Now, then it came to forget about 30 days. One look at the human card and your soul is going back home. Now, how many healing cards can I distribute? So then God said, okay, your face is the face of God, and anyone who looks at your face goes back home. Their soul goes back home. So now that any of my face comes on the YouTube or media or anywhere, one look at that face,
They're going back.
their soul is going back home. Why? Because that is the will of God.
The journey of Atma is a continuous process.
Journey of Atma is a continuous process from the perspective of they left the kingdom, came here, played the game of creation to their heart's content, and now they are wanting to go back. Now after they go back, what they do there, God is not going to explain. Whether they will again come out, God is not telling me. That is not having any relevance at this point of time.
Okay. So this whole idea of moksha, liberation, all that was said, and that's the ultimate goal to be achieved, is just to keep us in the matrix and in the game.
In order to understand, because this talk has two parts to it. One is the religion part, another is the spirituality part. Now, first we have to understand what is moksha. Moksha means you have escaped the cycle of birth and death. Okay? Mukti means, because moksha happens after you die. Mukti means right now you are free from your pain and suffering. Okay? Now, once these two are there, as a part of experience, it is very clear what these two things are. But how to make it happen? So, there came series of teachings. It could be Buddha's Eightfold Path. It could be Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga. It could be Mahavatar Babaji's Kriya Yoga. It could be Sahaj Yoga. It could be a lot more, because it's like a whole marketplace that is there. Each one has only one thing. First is the place of Sthita Prajna. The second is the place of Anand Vibhor. And third is the place of the samsara falling down. Basically, Anand Vibhor and samsara falling down both happens generally together. So first is Sthita Prajna. If you are in Sthita Prajna, you have Mukti. But how do you have it?
How do you get it?
Is it about purifying your body? Is it about purifying your mind? Is it about going towards sattva, rajas, tamas, or moving away from tamas and going towards sattva? Is it about trying to empty your thoughts from your head? What is it? Because different practices are different things. It is none of these. What then truly is this game? The game says that these energy bodies that you have, if the first one gets activated, first one is the astral body. Astral body gets activated, automatically you are in a place of silence, stillness, no mind, no thoughts, no wanting, no desire. That means you are in a place of balance. Nothing is moving you. First, body activation. Can you do it with your spiritual practices? No. The spirit and the soul does it for you depending on the storyline. If it is there. If it is not there, you won't get it. Second body activation, mental body. Bliss. What happens when you are in bliss? Ananda. When the first one happens, you do not entangle with the world. When the second one happens, the world falls away because you are so engrossed within you. Now people say this is who you are. But this is not who you are. This is the experience of second body activation. They say it's Sat Chit, Anand. Now Anand means they said you are Sat Chit Anand. You are not Anand, that is your experience. And Chit is that place where it has no vikar anymore. But you are not the mind even. Because I told you ultimately you are nothing or five. You can't say that I am one of them, not the other. Or you say, okay, I am something totally different, I don't know who I am. That is perfectly alright. And Sat, they use the word truth. But there is only one truth. As long as God did not come here, the truth was Atma. Why? Because truth means which doesn't change, which is forever, which is eternal, which means it cannot die. The soul doesn't die, but the king dies and is born again. So even the king is immortal, and along with all that, all the deities are mortal. They are all down the line. So that means even king is not the truth, which means even Brahman is not the truth, because Brahman is mind of the king. So truth is only the soul, but actual truth is God. There is only one truth because there is only one God. And these souls are nothing but an extension of the God, yet having their own individual existence. So, now coming back to spirituality, if your second body is activated, you have bliss. And if your third body is activated, you have awareness, expanded awareness. Our awareness is limited within our five senses. Once your etheric body is activated, third body, your awareness goes beyond your five senses.
Yes.
So, once your first two bodies are activated, you do not need to take birth again.
Two bodies are active.
First two bodies,
Astral and
mental. You do not need to take birth again. Why? Because if the world has fallen, where is the karma? There is no karma left. And if you have gone deep inside your blissful state and there is no world, where is karma? Because karma is in samsara. So this is moksha. Mukti is first body activation, second body activation is moksha. But it doesn't end here. I said the third body gives you greater awareness. And so you will find many people having huge awareness. They can reach to the end of the universe with their awareness. Subject to, it is in the storyline. Again, puppets. Even they are puppets.
even after having achieved.
Even after achieved moksha. And puppet of whom? The king. The king's mind comes as the Brahman, and Brahman's wave comes as the Atman, and Atman is orchestrating all these things. But I said there are 3 more bodies left, and in these 3 more bodies, etheric body, I said it gives you expanded awareness. What happens if the 4th body gets activated? The 4th body is your electromagnetic body. So if your energy electromagnetic body gets activated, you now have siddhis. You have power. You can play with it. You can somehow alter the destiny of people up to a point, to the extent the spirit allows, not beyond that. If they could do everything, then all siddhas will actually open a place, give me 10 lakh rupees, I will alter your destiny, and he will keep on doing for everyone. He can't do it, but 1 or 2 here and there he is able to do. Why is he able to do? Again, it comes from the storyline. The storyline says this siddha must have public credibility. Public credibility. In order to have public credibility, this siddha must be able to show miracles. So in order to show miracles, this siddha must alter the destiny of few people.
The control mechanism.
Now, suddenly this siddha becomes popular. People come and worship him. No one examines, did my life alter the way I heard that story? They are now hoping maybe tomorrow it will alter. That's how you go to the gurus. But the final straw is the 5th body activation, which is the true spiritual body. When that activates, now instead of being sourced by the spirit, you are being sourced by the soul directly.
Before Kabir, was there no other messenger?
Before Kabir, no. Because the souls did not want to go back.
So after Kabir, you are saying that you are the second,
Yes.
and you are different from Kabir. How it happened?
Because the work is different now. I work in a different environment. If you notice, Kabir was bhakti oriented. I am jnana oriented. But in the end, I am saying this jnana is trash. It will not give you anything. The only thing that matters is your relationship with God.
Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Karma Yoga. Different types
There are
of.
3 yogs, but these yogs have been given as if they can take you to some place. But what I am saying is, it will take you nowhere unless it is part of your storyline. And if it is not a part of your storyline, you cannot even practice them. And if it is a part of your storyline, you will practice them and go nowhere. And if it is a part of your storyline, you will practice them and attain mukti and moksha. So in the end,
Not around to go there.
it is everything about the script.
So doing all the practices is waste of time.
No, a good time pass. Who would say it is a waste of time? Because as such you have nothing worthwhile to engage with your time. So do that which you like.
I think it's better to manifest something materially.
But how can
in
you
the middle
manifest materialistically if it is not in your storyline?
One question I have, so we have astrology which kind of tells you based on the time of birth how your life will be. Is there something through which you can know what your storyline is?
Partially.
Yeah?
Partially.
Okay.
Because if you ask me what is my storyline, I do not know, because God says I will not tell you anything in the future. And all my knowledge comes from God. which means I do not know about the future. If there is a great astrologer, always know his greatness doesn't come from his calculations. Because today we have artificial intelligence which can compute far accurate than the astrologer. Where does it then come from? It comes from the deity sitting on the tongue of the astrologer. You may call it Saraswati, some call it Hanuman, some call it any other name, it doesn't matter. In the end, it was your storyline that you will become a good astrologer and these deities will come and support you in your work and you will get success in the samsara. People will come and pay you, people will come and applaud you, you will become famous. It's all there. And the day deity leaves, the same astrologer predicting, nothing is happening. Because it is now time for that astrologer to fall.
But how will we come to know the storyline? You said there's some way of knowing the storyline.
Because the deity gives you the future.
No, you said there is some way for us to know what the storyline is.
Through the astrologer.
Oh, only through the astrologer. Okay.
So life is a pre-recorded cassette and it's a pre-written book.
Yes, it is pre-recorded cassette and a pre-written book. What you said is true.
Yes. He only knows.
Yeah, we can say he.
Saying about the astrologer, can we know something?
From astrology,
Yeah.
you can know the past very well. I have seen most of the astrologers brilliant in predicting the path, but they falter when it comes to predicting the future.
So everybody wants to know the present and the future.
No one wants to know the present, they already know. But they are checking the credibility of the astrologer by listening to what he is saying about the present
And the future
and the
also.
past. And once he gets to believe the astrologer because he predicted correctly, now he accepts the future.
So you can believe to some extent.
You can believe to whatever extent you want.
It's up to you.
It's up to you.
Whether to believe or not is also a question.
You see, we want to believe because we are so miserable today and the astrologer has given us a very good fortune. I can now live with that imagination. It is like someone in our political hierarchy saying that good days are coming to you.
Yes. That's a different. Astrologers are also different. Astrology is same, but astrologers are different.
Astrologers are different.
Yeah, they say according to their
You see, I once did 3 Nari Shastra reading.
Yeah.
Okay, from different parts of India.
Yes.
And all of them said the past same and correct. But all of them predicted 3 different versions of the future. The problem with predicting the future is it is still not written on the stone.
Yes.
And the spirit can alter stuff. It is like, let's say, a person's life. If you notice and go to astrologer, the astrologer says there is something wrong when you are kind of 57 years old, but if you cross that, then your life is beautiful. Now what is
the only subject? No?
huh?
Crossing is the subject.
Now what is this 57? It means you have a possibility to exit. So every life has multiple exit points. Which one will happen? Even the astrologers cannot always say. So they say, if it so many days if you can pass, then good things are there.
So art of living is also very important.
Art of living, you will live as per your conditioning and storyline. If the storyline made you a good person, you will be a good person. If the storyline made someone a bad person, that one will be a bad person. And that is why God says, why judge people? They are all puppets. You are a puppet. Why are you so proud of your goodness? You're doing good because it was in your storyline. That poor fellow is doing bad because he was forced to be bad. So where is the judgment? And once you have these,
the judgment.
huh?
The way of executing
I
the
think
judgment.
ego is creating the judgment.
Exactly, these are egoistic games. The ego says that this is the way life should be. But go to a fool and that guy says, I don't know how life should be. I am just living. Now that fool really is more intelligent than a egoistic person who says this is exactly how everyone should live. Not realizing that who will allow them to live like that. There are
Practicality.
There are forces which are taking you away from the idealistic world. And why? Because the king needs the food. It all starts from that place.
We are the dishes.
They're using us.
Yeah.
So there was something that you mentioned that probably a person who's maybe 70 or 80 years old, the biggest suffering or the pain he has then is not knowing what is it that he's done his entire life. So when we're not really aware of the storyline or there is no way to find out what needs to be done, the entire purpose of being here, you know, if you ask me the purpose of you and me having a conversation, there has to be a higher purpose, right? So where does that purpose fit in the storyline and how can one identify what that is?
There is no higher purpose.
Okay,
There is no purpose.
okay,
How can puppets have a purpose?
okay.
Yeah.
Only thing that is left, if you say why we are having this conversation, it is a good time pass. You were invited here, not knowing why you are coming, but you trusted the host for whatever reason and you came. You came here to listen to a guy about whom you don't have any idea, but still something brought you here
Right.
and you have still not walked out for whatever reason, either because you don't want to look bad in front of others or because you are finding the conversation interesting. But in the end, nothing. When you go back, what you have taken back? Nothing. You still, some people say, now you have totally confused me, I don't know how to live. But I said, where is the confusion? I said you are a puppet and you are acting the way someone is making you act. Now continue to act like that and assume you have free will. Assume. Even though on examining it thoroughly, we couldn't find free will, but let us assume we have free will. Because up till now you believed, now you assume. And from that assumption, live, take your decisions and live the way you want to live.
Sir, are we sitting here because of storyline or
Now, you are not sitting here because the storyline is created within the domain of the king. This is orchestrated by God outside the storyline.
is outside?
It is outside. Any work of God that we do, it is outside the storyline. Me coming to this work is not part of the storyline. My soul did not know that God will come on a particular day and pluck me out of my storyline and push me into a direction that God wanted.
So tomorrow meeting also is out of storyline.
Tomorrow's meeting is also out of storyline. Every work of God is outside the storyline.
Now, how God is selecting the people?
God is selecting many people. But what happens is some people are intuitively connecting with God and some people's ego says, I do not want to enter into a domain that does not have credibility, that does not have the backing of the scriptures, that does not have any practical utility for the society. The ego steps back. And when the ego steps back, God then says, fine, next one. Because God will not force and God will not put thoughts, feelings and emotions into you in order that you follow the will of God. God will not do that. With God, total freedom. Any day you want to step back, step back.
So people's existing belief system is a barrier to reach the God?
Existing belief system is a barrier to
reach the God.
To reach God? Not always. We really do not know what is the barrier.
Helps to reach the connect with the God.
It helps to keep your connection with God alive. Otherwise, you are connected with God when you are looking at the book or healing card. You may not be connected throughout the day. But again, when you are talking with God, you are connected with God. But if this happens in such a way that you have a deep affection for that photo, deep affection for whatever is emerging from that book or card, then even the book and card is not needed, and you may have a permanent connection with God without the book, without the card. Now God is inside you.
What are these people talking about? Ramana and Nisargadatta, all these people. They talk about something very similar, where that there is no choice. You just have to surrender to X or whatever is the thing. There is only consciousness which is experiencing this and that and everything. That means there is no individual entity. That is what is their experience.
You see, what they are saying is, this Brahman is what is consciousness. Brahman is experiencing everything. And you surrender to the Brahman in such a way that you realize that you are Brahman and nothing else but Brahman. But for that realization, intellectually is okay. Experientially, for that realization to manifest as a part of your ongoing experience of life, only happens to a few people like Ramana Maharshi and Nisargadatta Maharaj.
It has to be in the story.
It has to be in the storyline. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. It only remains intellectual. So I am talking about God, but I am not experiencing being God. Neither I claim to be that. So that's why people ask me that, who are you? So I ask God, who am I? I am a human, na? God says, no, you are a God. I said, but I have no powers that you have. He said, no, you are still. I said, what kind of God? Because I said, that's why you are God. The end of all conversations. Because God said, I am God, so I am God. Minus all powers, minus all miracles, I can do nothing.
So what I understand is you are the messenger of God. You get the matter from Him, and when we try to ask you something, you are answering our calls. That's what I experienced.
Yes, but there is a lot more. It is God who is answering.
That's what. You are the media. You are the media.
So when you say I am answering, it is not I, the person sitting here, but God using me or this body to answer your questions. And yet, this body mind limits the answer of God.
Okay. Like I didn't get you.
You see, this body mind is still conditioned in a certain way.
Okay.
And most of the time, because I have been now talking, God is talking through me, and there was a time a few years back also, God was talking through me. The amount of knowledge that could flow then, now more can flow with a greater clarity. It is only because this personality is becoming a little more clear. But I am still not as clear to allow God to transmit exactly what God wants to be transmitted.
The complete information.
It's just not information. Along with the information comes the grace of God, which is more important than the information.